Hey, how's it going, Dr. Bats? It's me, Vainqueur, and I also go by Victor. It's late at night, and this assignment's about to be late. Yeah, I don't think I'm turning it in time. But look at me, I'm awesome. I'm looking buff today. Looking edible. All right, so I'm headed to North Campus Market to get girls. let me cut that out. Okay, so I had to change the scenery a bit. I came back in my room, and here's how it's looking. Nice little tour. As far as my experiences at UMD goes, UMD is a great school. At first, I didn't think it was going to be good because I didn't really like the school when I came for the visit. It was all rainy. Everything, it looked doo-doo. Like, it didn't look good. But once I started going here, a few months passed, and I'm like, this school's all right. You know? I made a lot of friends here. Even in this class, I made some friends. That's the cool thing about schools. The main reason I chose to sign up for this class is because the time actually fit in with my schedule. I'll have a little graphic showing how my schedule looks to show you what I mean. I like having all my classes bunched up together, and yeah, I did need it for gen ed, but that's aside the point. I like having my classes all bunched up together so that I can get done like all my schoolwork and then just be done with it. I don't want my other classes to impede on that. And I also like to work out a lot, you know. As far as expectations for this course go, I expected it to be easy, that's for sure. Yeah, I wasn't expecting anything too difficult, and it wasn't really difficult at all. We read some fun books. It reminded me of my 7th grade class when I read In the Skin You're In. I think that's a really good book for this class. All right, I had to leave my room because it was just too dark. I want to find an area where it's lighter. I live in La Plata, so, you know, I live in the trenches. The content from the course that I liked the most, of all the books, I really liked The Vanishing Half the most. And one thing I noticed about all these books is that they all had the theme of duality was present. The theme of duality is from like the vanishing half or the river between, implying it's between two other things. That's one thing that I noticed a lot. If I had to pick a text that I liked the least, it would probably be the river between. Why do I say this? Well, it just came toward the end of the semester. I didn't feel like doing anything, you know? So that goes for what I like the least. I didn't hate it or anything. I ain't no hater. Couldn't hate anything, right? But I just liked it the least because, bro, I had so much assignments and so much projects. Like I'm taking engineering. I should have mentioned that earlier. I'm a mechanical engineer major, right? So I take all these classes, and by the time I get to this class, everything is packed, you know? So it's pretty difficult. So yeah, the schedule's pretty tough, but man, I'm tougher. Yeah, and speaking of assignments, as far as the writing assignments that we had and all that, you know, the group work, like just speaking with one another in class, that was also another aspect that I really liked. I do like the way that the class helped me understand more about Black diaspora, because a lot of it I had to deal with in my life, you know. My whole life I spent moving. I was born in Congo, DRC in 2003. We moved to America in 2004, and I lived in Charlotte up until like 2016. Moved to Virginia, then I moved to Maryland. Now I'm still living in Maryland, right? But it's like a lot of that stuff that I can, you know, kind of connect with, especially with books that we read, like The Thing Around Your Neck or The River Between, because they were set in Africa. And, you know, I was born in Africa. Okay, so the lighting should be better now that I made it into stamp. And, oh, there's a leakage here. Let me get around that. I'm just showing y'all. See that I'm not lying. This class was really, really, really fun. Dr. Bats was very lenient with us. Thank you for that. And oh yeah, look, Panera Bread just opened. This is going to be very dated by the time you show this to your class. Yeah, the lines here are ridiculous. Like the first 2 days of opening. Yeah, that stuff's gonna end in a while. Probably not. Oh yeah, something else that's gonna be really dated by the time y'all see this is probably the roast of Tom Brady. That like came out recently and everyone's going crazy about it. But that's probably gonna be really dated. So this should give y'all a good time span of when I'm making this video. I had to pause the video for a bit. Just got done running game on a girl. Now I'm headed to South Campus. I'm near McKeldin, and now I wanna discuss how Black/African diaspora and culture impact me. Like I mentioned earlier, I was born in Africa and constantly moved throughout my whole life. So I got a very deep connection with this. I'm gonna use myself as an example. Every time I move from place to place, I notice that my personality, things about me personally change. You know, I went from being a delinquent to this all-American, amazing young man, right? And you even notice this in the books that we read, like with The Vanishing Half, how Stella literally changed. She became a white woman. And this is the real takeaway I get from diaspora, is how it changes people. Not just the change itself, but how it changes your actions, your thoughts, your friendships, your relationships with other people. Yeah, it's not always gonna be that drastic, but people do change. And that's one aspect that I noticed a lot. And here's something else that I noticed a lot. There's a police car. Why is there a police car? Because Testudo's right there. People are giving their offerings to Testudo. Remember last year, there was a whole bunch of stuff stacked on this dude's head. They put condoms and bedspreads and all this stuff on Testudo. I even remember somebody chucked a door up on Testudo. I don't even know where they got it from. They had their mattress on him. Like, people get fined for this stuff, right? Let's take a look at all the stuff. Yeah, alcohol bottles, things like that. This isn't even good luck charms, man. Is that water? Yeah, there goes Testudo. Yeah, last year he got vandalized. I'm not even gonna touch his nose. It's not even good luck. You might end up with an STD. There's the cop car keeping everyone from vandalizing Testudo once again. All right, now I'm in McKeldin. And take a look at everyone studying for finals, something I should be doing right now. I'm gonna go upstairs. All right, Dr. Batts, if you show this to your class, just tell the ladies to chill out. Listen, I know I'm a bad man, but just chill, ladies, all right? You know, now I want to talk about how diaspora has impacted culture and movement and things of that nature. You know, it's funny how years back, being African was almost like a bad thing. People used to make all the jokes, right? You know, the African booty scratcher, or you're too broke to afford a car, so you got to ride elephants to school, you know, that petty crap. And now it's almost like they want to be African. You know what I'm saying? I used to say my name in class, and the teacher would call my name for attendance. I'd be like, what? Now it's almost like, bro, that's the greatest thing ever. Like, when did that happen? But it's funny to me because I realized through reading The River Between and just through other things in society, almost like the Black Panther movie helped me realize this, is that, you know, it takes a bit of time, but sometimes when a different culture comes in, when people just think of, you know, stepping outside their own box or stepping outside their own biases, and they get to see other cultures and they embrace it. That's why you see nowadays, there's so many cultures around America that people embrace, you know, not just my culture, but many different cultures. And even in UMD, in the dining halls, Yantamiti, there's like so many different sections, so many different cultures around. And that's just the impact of diaspora. That's the impact that diaspora has. Am I saying it correctly? Diaspora? Diaspora? Regardless, that's the impact that it has. You know, it can bring different cultures together, and people now have a variety. Variety is the spice of life, ultimately. All right. I love how the final question is pretty much what I've been talking about this whole time, so I'm just gonna answer it outside. So the final question is, do I have a personal connection with Black/African diaspora? Does the moon turn blue at night? Of course it does. Like I mentioned before, my whole life has been spent moving to America, moving to Virginia, moving to Charlotte, moving to Maryland, all that stuff. And by the way, if you're wondering, I'm 20 years old and currently a sophomore, a rising junior. For all you ladies out there, you must be 18 and older. Okay, so like I was saying before my phone just up and died on me, I moved all my life, right? And for me personally, every single time I've moved, it's always been voluntary, right? Black diaspora, in this class, we always speak about how it's either voluntary or involuntary. It was always voluntary for us. But the move from Congo, it was voluntary. It wasn't as bad as it is now, but there's always problems. But I don't think there's any chance that my dad or my mom would ever want to move back. And honestly, I don't blame them. You know, America's an awesome country. And honestly, like my life would be so different if I, you know, just stayed in one place my whole life. And that's the fun thing about diaspora. It's traveling and seeing new things. You should always expose yourself to new things. That's one thing I want you to take away from this video is you should always expose yourself to new things. You know, good experiences, new experiences, even if they're bad experiences, you got to learn from them. And that's the most important part about life is learning and growing from the experiences that you have gone through, you know. Overall, this course was awesome to me. Dr. Batts, you're amazing. Awesome professor. Oh yeah, Dr. Batts, please show this video to your classes for semesters to come. It was a very fun video to make, and I'm a very beautiful man. Thank you for the great semester and many more days to come.